What's up, Lemonhead? Well, today is going to be a little different. As you can see, Crystal and Emily is not doing the podcast as it is in me and Andrea, who will be leading this. Andrea, would you like to introduce yourself?
Yeah, hi everybody. I'm Andrea Reagan and I'm the head of operations here at Lemon Seed Marketing.
And most of you guys know who I am. I'm Lupita. We are going to be talking about opportunities and careers pathways in the trade industry with our special guest, Toni Bauer. And Kate, go ahead and say your last name because I do not want to mess this up.
Cinnamo is the last name.
Cinnamo. Okay.
Yep.
All right. And they are from Explore the Trade.
Hi, guys. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, happy to be here.
All right, guys. Now let's sip some lemonade.
So, Kate, you've been the executive director of Explore the Trade since 2017. Can you tell us a bit about your journey with the organization and your role?
Sure. Like you said, Andrea, I came to this role in April of 2017. So I've been here for 7 years. And like so many people's journeys into the trades, I can say that I sort of fell into mine with a background in senior healthcare and housing. I worked in that arena for quite a while. And, excuse me, had one of those moments one day where I felt like I wanted a new challenge. And so came across this role. And I have learned so much about the industry along with everybody else. And I think that's a really big opportunity, not only for myself, but for the organization to say, well, if we want to get the trades out in front of the upcoming generation, what do they need to know? And what would be really interesting to them? And so I think because of my journey, understanding that, I have seen all the facets and how one can develop such an affinity for the trades. And that's how I got where I am.
Awesome. Awesome. All right, Toni. So you joined the Explore the Trades in May of 2023. What drew you to this organization and what is your focus on the donor engagement specialist?
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, I'm the donor engagement specialist. I'm the newest addition to the Explore the Trades team. And my primary focus is, of course, fundraising, but ultimately, more than that, it's fostering relationships with our donors and industry partners. And I, like many others, kind of stumbled into the trades world as well. I took the traditional path and went to a 4-year college because that was what was expected.
Right.
Found myself kind of unfulfilled with the results of that and was presented an opportunity to volunteer doing disaster relief, repairing damaged homes after some flooding down in Louisiana. And, thought to myself, I don't have any skilled trades experience. I've barely used power tools. I was kind of out of my element, right? Yeah. And was pleasantly surprised. I knew it was going to be rewarding, but the work itself was incredible. And I found myself feeling really empowered and discovered, I had the aptitude for it and realized, hey, if I discovered accidentally that I have an aptitude for this, I bet there's other people out there that do as well. And they just don't realize it. Right.
Right.
So that really excited me. And the opportunity to work with Explore the Trades to promote the skilled trades to the next generation really excited me because I believe that there's a lot of young people out there that have the aptitude for the skilled trades and they just need the information and they need the exposure to it.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. The exposure is like a big part of it because if they're not exposed to it, then they don't know.
Yeah, it's tactical. Right? Like being a technician, you don't know if you like it unless you try it, right?
Unless you try it, yes.
Yep.
No, that is true. And you can't be scared either to get your hands dirty.
Right.
Nope. That's one of the things that I've really spoken a lot with Toni about in our one-on-one meetings is the importance of putting to light how valuable it is to have a skilled trade. And, not everybody needs or should want to explore a 4-year university, especially with the high demand that home services and skilled trades offer right now. There's just such a high demand for it, and yet so many young students or high school students think that the only way they can make a decent salary and a decent livable wage is by going to a 4-year college. So just putting some numbers together, because I'm older than I appear, but I did graduate in 2011 from
Wait a
AM.
minute, hold on.
Yeah.
Okay, no, I was going to say, wait a minute, don't you dare say high school, but college. Okay. I was like, what?
Yeah, I so wish, but no, no, I'm not. I don't look that young. But the average cost of a 4-year public school right now in 2023 was $104,000. And that's only if you're in state. To go to a 4-year private school in state, you can be looking at up to $223,000. And that's purely for an undergraduate degree. And so Toni and Kate were kind enough to send an Explore the Trades poster kit that they use for advocacy of the trades.
I don't know if y'all can see it, but I got it.
There it is.
Yes.
Love it.
Yes. And it was so enlightening to me to see that a junior CSR starting out could potentially make between $17 and $20 an hour.
Yeah.
Because in reality, when I was in college, I really had the impression that when I graduated, I could easily find a job making a minimum of $75,000 a year. And that is just, of course, we shoot for the stars, but I didn't end up after college anywhere near that number. In fact, what I ended up with was a decent bit of student loan debt and making, I hate to say it because it was 2011, but I was making what a junior CSR could be making straight out of high school or with a GED. So to me, just that knowledge and education about the potential income and everything that could be offered without such a financial investment with the same success levels is huge. And so for that reason alone, I'm so excited that Kate and Toni had the opportunity to talk about that on our podcast, because education really is key. And that's not something that I received when I was in high school. And now as times have changed, of course, we are talking more about being in the trades and whatnot, but that was not something that was even an option for me because it wasn't presented to me when I was in high school. So I love this poster kit. I love it.
That's awesome. That's the endorsement we're looking for. So thank you.
Of course. It's so exciting to talk to Toni and Kate because I have a 19-year-old who has made the conscious decision, while he does have incredible opportunities, he made the conscious decision that I do not want to attend a 4-year university. I want to become skilled at something that I truly love and find an honest future in. I mean, how many people, for example, I graduated with a double major in psychology and criminal justice, and here I am at an amazing marketing agency. But if I tried to apply what I've learned in college to this, it's very minimal. So it's so important that there is good job training, there is good skilled labor training and whatnot. And so I love this nonprofit organization for that reason alone. So Kate, let's explore the trades. It really focuses on bringing the trades career possibilities to students and educators. So tell us a little bit about the impact your organization has made in terms of reaching schools and students.
Yeah, that's a good question. And I think, the conversation we just had, how we're organically talking about students, right? And the four of us right now, my bet is that we went through high school, and if your school counselor talked about going to a trade school or right into the workforce, it was probably because it was with the perception of, oh, I'm sorry you weren't smart enough to get into a 4-year college. How about these options? So it's very much on the side. And I think if you follow that idea back, it was in the 70s, right, where they started that campaign that everyone has to go to college to find success. And I think that campaign just went through generation to generation. And
Yeah, it has bled
yeah,
over. That's yes,
right,
yes.
right. And I think that those of us, so I graduated from high school in 99. So I kind of fit into that Gen X generation. And I think because we are all in that age group where so many people went to
Mhm.
college, there's not a lot of us who would have had exposure, like Toni said, to those classes in college. Sort of the late 90s, early 2000s is when all of these schools took out shop class. And it was probably because the longtime instructor finally retired. And maybe that was the opportunity to say, hey, you know what? We're not going to put any more budget funds towards this. It's too expensive. How do we
Mhm.
find an instructor? How do we get someone from the field to come in and teach? And so that's the opportunity to shift everybody over here. And now we're on the flip side. Now the pendulum has swung so far that we don't have any of these craftsmen and women to do the work that is so necessary that for our day-to-day lives. And so what we want to do is kind of figure out how can Explore the Trades fit into that conversation to say, well, we want to be part of the reason why you're bringing trades education back into the school through some of
Right.
the programmatic efforts we have. How can we assist either a local company set up a partnership with a local school? How can we be of service to get equipment into the school so students can really try that? How do I fix a furnace? What does a furnace do? I think we have to remember that we are starting from square one in terms of these students understanding what these tradespeople do. A plumber does not come and clean your toilet. That is not
Right.
true, right? And that's the perception. So how can we break it down so that they understand how important these tradespeople are, what they do? Did you know that there's someone who ensures that you have clean water and hot water in your home every day? So there's all these different things that we take for granted that we already know because we're in the industry, but how can we ensure that those adults in those students' lives, whether they're uninformed or underinformed, how can we give them the tools they need to have those conversations? So that's really what we're focused on.
Mhm. Yes.
One of the things that I just realized while we were on here is that we're all very obviously different, but the one thing that we have in common is we are women in what is truly once a male dominated industry. So as I'm sitting here thinking, I was reflecting onto the poster kit, and I love the fact that it is so gender neutral, meaning that you are not just targeting high school males with it is targeting everybody, men, women alike. And that also breaks those barriers of the perception of, hey, success does not just lie within college. And you know what? Neither does a man.
Right.
Neither does being a man. You can actually be in the service industry, in the trades, as a female, doing the exact same thing that what would traditionally be a male's role. And there's nothing in this poster kit to imply that is for male students only to
Mhm.
start thinking
Mhm.
about. And so I really like that. I love the idea of presenting that to females, because as I was telling Toni, and now that I'm looking at it, I did have very good grades. I did get scholarships. So maybe that conversation about any other options wasn't given to me. But at the same time, had I seen the numbers and the salary figures and the opportunities that are there, that could have very easily swayed me outside of attending a four-year university. So I love that we're putting in front of people, both male and female alike, all of the opportunities that are really at their disposal with just a little effort, hard work, and some willpower and discipline. And so I love
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
Now, Toni, obviously, receiving sponsorships and whatnot supports the mission for Explore the Trades, but what else can be done? Is if for our listeners that say, man, I might not be able to support financially, but I love this cause. How can I come in and help?
Sure. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, obviously, as a nonprofit, we certainly can't operate our programs without donations, right? So we are reliant upon those to do our work. However, we're always very open to engaging in conversations about, other ways, creative ways that we can collaborate. If we can be an arm to another organization, if we're filling a gap maybe that is missing in someone else's work or whatever. I mean, yeah, I don't know if I answered that correctly, but
well, and I think Toni already alluded to it in that, in thinking of a lot of our donors, small businesses in the trades community located across the US. And it's really fun and encouraging to speak with the technicians or other professionals that they have working for them, because it's so great to have them call us or email us to say, hey, I saw your website, your social media. Do you mind if I grab one of those kits for my kids' schools? 100%, right? Yeah. So if we can sort of build out sort of those informal ambassadors on behalf of the organization, on behalf of the industry, I think, again, if we can just get the information into the hands of the people who can make a difference, I think that's great. And naturally the conversation turns to, oh, wait a second. We know a contractor in the community. They're interested in the school connection. You guys seem to be interested in the trades. And if we can be sort of the liaison between that potential partnership is really exciting. Like how can we match up industry and education? And I think that's one small win that we can take advantage of.
Yeah, no doubt. It reminds me of Mac Williams and Son, which it's Crystal's family's company. And here recently they went to a school and did a job fair. So I saw their Facebook post and they brought flex and I mean all kinds of stuff. And you had the kids like seeing what a furnace really looked like, what the flex really looked like, what was the reason for the flex. And I mean, we need more of that in schools.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I think back to a STEM fair a colleague and I did probably 5 years ago. It was before COVID. And we had the chance to go to a STEM fair with 8th graders in Minneapolis, St. Paul. And we brought all these handheld tools, right? And we brought a snake camera. Can I tell you how much the 8th graders love the snake camera? They're messing around with it and looking in everyone's ears. It's, what 8th graders do. But it was interesting to say, well, did you know that when a plumber comes to your home, this is why they use that? Oh, so then you slowly start to see the wheels turn. And then the conversation gravitates towards, well, this is the type of education you need as a plumber. You wouldn't go to traditional college. So that sort of piqued their interest, and then you talk about the potential salary they can make. And so it's little by little, if you can get their hands on a small tool, if they can see it and understand it in use, that's really all it is. Let me touch it. Let me see it.
It's more of a visual effect to them.
Yes, absolutely. Yes.
Yeah. I'm over here imagining how at 35 I would feel if I was looking at one of those snake cameras. So I would be fascinated.
They loved it.
My mind automatically goes to, like, once you told the kids what exactly was the snake camera was, did they like freak out because they were trying to put it in their ear?
Well,
that's my thing. That was my thing. That's the thought that ran through my head, was like, they were trying to put it, but then again, you had to explain what kind of tool that was.
We didn't really go past an ear or a nose.
Okay. We're good. We're safe, everyone.
Yeah.
All right. And I don't know, Andrea, if you asked this question or not, but tell me, how are you building and maintaining stronger donor relationships, and why is it important for the organization to keep that bond?
Right. Yeah. So we do a lot of outreach to industry players to understand, do they have a community or philanthropic approach? Are they making any efforts in their community or communities to build a strong network to support trades-related efforts. What is their approach? What are their priorities? And valuable conversations can occur about, how we can collaborate to strengthen the message about the skilled trades.
Yeah.
And, the more we are in alignment with goals to support the industry, the more I think impactful that we can be for the industries overall. So, ideally it's about seeking out a partnership that's a win across the board. It contributes to the overall economic health of communities and businesses and the like, and the industry as a whole.
Oh, that is right.
I love
That is
that.
right.
Absolutely. So, as far as being a receiver for the poster kit and being a donor, is there anything, any qualifications that our listeners need to review before reaching out to you for donations, or anything that they need to know before they make a commitment to donate?
No, to that point, Andrea, our donor base stems from individuals to businesses in the small community to industry, manufacturers, distributors. And it's really enjoyable for us to see, certainly the gratitude we have for that financial support. We certainly have that for all of our donors. What's really gratifying is if there's an individual who makes a gift, it's really encouraging to hear their story as to why. They have some connection that either they used to work in the trades themselves, they had a family connection, their family owned a business. So like any nonprofit that you might support, obviously there's a personal connection to that. So it's certainly a challenge, but also at the same time, an opportunity for our team to create momentum behind the trades as to why they are so important, and to create those illustrations and really think about how the greatest invention for public health was plumbing. If you think about it, think about your history lessons. And so it's enjoyable to put all the pieces of the puzzle together and then share those stories.
I think that's so valid and so important. And it also gives us a good little pivot and direction to our next topic, which is the importance of the trades industry. So let's talk about, we understand it, especially Kate, as you're talking about the invention of plumbing, but let's talk about why the trades industry is essential for our economy and society. And some common misconceptions that Explore the Trades is helping address.
Sure. Some of those common misperceptions, I think we've heard it all the time. I think we've heard it for the past 50 years, everyone going through school, everyone who's going through high school graduation. It's dirty. It's not fulfilling. It's uneducated.
Yeah.
You're not going to earn a great living. And I think finally it all sort of peaked, and everyone in the industry is saying, hold on a second, that's not true. And I think, as much as we don't want to talk about it, I think COVID really put a light on the essential nature of these roles, because I think everyone remembers when it hit social media, on Facebook, the cartoon, the illustration with all of the superheroes, and then you have the plumber coming to join the group, so I think it's a great visual of these people ensure that we have clean drinking water. It's hot water. We have indoor air quality. And that was certainly a topic that everybody started talking about during COVID that we probably wouldn't have talked about, right? In terms of electrical, everyone's working from home. This is what we need. And I think, you can certainly go up and down the chain, but I think with the economic health of the trades, it's so easy to think of the neighborhood company, the family-owned multi-generation company in your community. And you think, well, I know those people. I went to school with them. We've been family friends for a long time. And those employers of choice in those communities, those are good jobs. Those are essential jobs in the community. And I think that's such a great example, homegrown, of what the trades can do locally. And, you know, if you go up the food chain, down the food chain, however you want to look at it, but with all of the distributors, all the manufacturers, the number of jobs that are tied up in this industry and all of the technology and all of those advances, there's a lot of things happening that no one knows about. And now it's sort of this fever pitch. And now we get to talk about it. Now it's okay for us to talk about it. With
Right.
before. So, you know, I think the health and vitality of communities can be wrapped up in this. And again, we finally get to talk about it, you know, where it's sort of been under wraps for a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's so valid. I love it because, you know, we often don't think, I think a lot of people try not to think about 2020 and COVID, and we're just trying to count the ceiling tiles as we walk past those conversations, because that's just, we don't even want to jinx it.
Right.
And have something like that happen again. But it really did shine a big spotlight on people that are essential for the things that we take advantage of daily. And so when we're talking about recession-proof careers, because it happens, you know, our economy is always wavering one way or the other. And so with that, the one thing that we really don't see is a lower demand for essential jobs such as healthcare and the home service industry and skilled labor and trades. So I think that's just such a valid point to bring up. As we take a look back, as we look forward, what future trends and challenges do you see in the trades industry, and how can Explore the Trades begin working on addressing them?
You know, I think that's a great question. And not only with, you know, I think when we talk about advances, I think your mind immediately goes to equipment and things like that. But you know, specifically with what our team does, you know, if we're focused on that K through 12 population and how can we be of service to that group, one area that our team has been focused on is the rise of CTE, with the rise of career and technical education in schools around the country. And we know that, you know, there's federal funding called Perkins funding that allows school districts to either create or strengthen any sort of workforce development that they would have within the school district. And like anything, you know, the more you read into the fine print, the more interesting it is. And, you know, what's been sort of eye-opening for us is, you know, schools and states have this funding, but it's all managed differently. It's not managed the same across the board. So you realize the students over in state A receive more opportunity than the students in state B, just because of how their funding formula works. And I think there's an opportunity for Explore the Trades in our materials that if we can position it correctly, we can say the poster kit that we have is certainly complementary to any workforce and career development that you have in the school. And I think that if we can help get the message across to industry that in your community, your business can absolutely be a partner to them. And if the school doesn't have all of the budget funds to make something happen, you can step in as an industry player and say, you know what, we have a great training facility. We have extra materials we can donate to this. You know, we have staff who could be a guest speaker that day. So how can we, with boots on the ground, how can we immediately make an impact to the school? And no doubt the school will love it, you know, to have a guest come in and to bring in
100%.
Yeah. So how can we sort of wrap that up, put a bow on it and say, hey, industry education, let's meet. How can we help facilitate that?
Right. And it leads me into the next question. It's going to be, how can organizations like Explore the Trade empower the next generations of tradespeople and build a skilled workforce?
Yeah, I mean, if you ask us, I think we feel that the key to building the future skilled trades workforce is just reaching people earlier in their education journey, right? And, you know, on our end, especially making sure that educators, school counselors, and parents have the trades information, and, you know, ideally also disprove some of those negative stereotypes as well along the way. but have the right information to support young people in exploring these opportunities that are available. But I think, beyond that too, like industry players playing a role is essential as well. I think it's key that everybody work together to, support these efforts to feed the talent pipeline. And, it takes a village, as they say.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Yep.
It does. Well, ladies, this has just been so amazing. I mean, we've explored career opportunities in the skilled trades. We've talked about how vital it is for our economy and our communities. And we also talked about how people can connect with rewarding careers in the trades and the next generation of tradespeople. So we are just so thankful that you were able to come on and share who you are and why it's important, and just get that advocacy out, because it is the future of our children. Shoot, my child, like 19, he is there, he is actively looking, and he has friends that are currently entering this workforce through the trades. And so he's sitting there saying, well, maybe I should do that, maybe. And I'm sitting there, yes you should, yes, please, let's do that. And so I love that the minds are budding, and we're really thinking outside of these perceptions that our generation and the previous generations have been taught. We're breaking gender barriers, we're breaking educational barriers, and that is what Explore the Trades is all about. So we're so excited to continue working with you to spread the word and the importance of your organization. And so it's just been a pleasure having you both on the show with us. We're so happy that you're here, and we appreciate everything that you're doing for our next generation and future generations to come.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Katie and Toni, how can listeners learn more about Explore the Trades, or how can they contact you guys?
Yeah, great question. So our website is explorethetrades.org, and our handle on social media is @explorethetrades. And on our website, we have our contact information on there. So we'll welcome an email or a phone call anytime.
All right. Well, thank you guys for listening to another episode from the Yellow Chair. And I hope everybody can understand me with my hay bell sounding accent. I feel like it's really strong right now. So I do apologize if anyone has a hard time understanding this episode. If you enjoyed this episode, please leave us a review. And also, thanks for sipping some lemonade with us. We'll see you next time.